BTS played a concert in Busan and charged nobody a single one. No ticket revenue. Free. And the Korea Institute of Culture and Tourism later put the economic spillover from that one night at roughly 1 trillion won, somewhere around $700 million depending on the exchange rate you use. One show, one night, free. $700 million. Here's how that math actually works, and here's the twist nobody mentions when they post the stat. October 15th, 2022. Busan Asiad Main Stadium. Around 50,000 people inside. Another 10,000 watching a live relay down at Busan Port. 2,000 more gathered in Haeundae. And globally, close to 50 million people watched it, between the online stream and broadcast. For a free show. But the attendance isn't where the money came from. The money came from who showed up. Roughly 2/3 of the people at that concert flew in from outside Korea. Over a 10-day window, more than 503,000 visitors poured into Busan. That's the whole engine right there. 50,000 locals at a free concert generates a decent night for nearby restaurants. 30-something thousand foreigners flying in, booking hotels, eating out, shopping, and staying for days generates an economic event. Demand got so intense the city government had to step in to stop merchants from price gouging on accommodation. That's the tell. When a government has to intervene to keep hotels from robbing people, you're not looking at a concert anymore, you're looking at a tourism surge. Now, here's the number that makes it land. Busan and the bid committee reportedly spent around 7 billion won, putting the concert on, roughly $5 million. Spend 5 million, generate an estimated 700 million. That's not a good return. That's a return that sounds fake. And why did a city government pay to put on a free BTS concert in the first place? Because it wasn't really a concert, it was a campaign ad. Busan was bidding to host the 2030 World Expo, and the entire event was built to sell the city to the world. BTS were effectively the closing argument, which brings us to the part that gets left out of every viral post about this. Busan lost. In November 2023, the World Expo 2030 went to Riyadh, and it wasn't close. Busan got beaten decisively. The single most powerful promotional weapon on the planet, a free concert seen by 50 million people, and the bid still failed. So the concert didn't do the job it was built for. It just happened to generate an estimated $700 million on the way to losing. And this is where it gets interesting, because that effect turned out to be repeatable. In June 2026, BTS came back to that same Busan Ajit Stadium for 2 nights on the Arirang tour. Not free this time, a regular ticketed tour stop. During that concert week, the area within 3 kilometers of the stadium recorded around 730,000 foreign visitors, an increase of more than 340% over the previous week. Credit card spending by international visitors in that zone jumped nearly 115%. Zoom out and Busan pulled 2.42 million international visitors in the first half of 2026, up almost 44% year over year, with June the biggest month of the year. 4 years apart, same stadium, same city, same effect. Now, economists will tell you to hold these numbers loosely, and they're right to. Spillover estimates use multipliers, and multipliers are assumptions. One researcher speaking to CNBC called it overly simplistic to assume this kind of growth is guaranteed to continue. Some of that spending would have happened somewhere in Korea anyway. Big round impact figures also tend to come from people with a reason to want a big round number. But the raw inputs underneath aren't modeled, they're counted. 500,000 visitors in 10 days. 2/3 of a stadium flying in from overseas. Foot traffic up 340%. Card spending up 115%. Hotels gouging so hard the city had to intervene. You can argue about the exact dollar figure all day. You can't really argue with the airport, so what does it actually prove? That BTS at full power functions less like a band and more like a piece of national infrastructure. Korea has a term for it now, BTS nomics, the same way Taylor Swift got Swiftnomics. Cities aren't booking them for the ticket revenue. Busan gave the tickets away. They're booking them because 7 guys can move 500,000 people across borders on a single date. The Expo bid failed. The 700 million showed up anyway. LMK what you think in the comments. Do these economic impact numbers hold up, or is it inflated hype? Subscribe for more.